Couple accused of shaking their 4-month-old daughter to death, the Greenwood case. Lincoln, Nebraska, August 14th. At 5:30 in the morning, a frantic 911 call shattered the silence. On the other end of the line, a father reporting that his baby daughter was dead. But as investigators would soon discover, this was not the tragedy of sudden infant death syndrome. This was something darker. A 4-month-old baby girl was gone. And the two people who should have protected her, her parents, were now suspects in her death. We unravel the disturbing case of Ryan and Tanya Greenwood, a couple accused of shaking their infant daughter to death. A story of alleged neglect, violence, conflicting testimonies, and a chilling reality. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. The discovery. Just after sunrise on Thursday, August 14th, Ryan Greenwood, 36, called 911 from the couple's apartment near 27th Street and Woods Boulevard to report his infant daughter was dead. Lincoln police arrived at the apartment. Inside, Ryan Greenwood met with the officers and told them how he found his 4-month-old daughter dead. The baby was found unresponsive, her tiny body cold. Ryan insisted he had tried CPR. He said he called his mother before dialing 911. But to detectives, the scene already raised questions. If his daughter was lifeless, why wasn't help sought sooner? Police say both Ryan and his wife, 28-year-old Tanya Greenwood, were home when the baby died. The story seemed simple at first, a tragic accident, maybe even sudden infant death syndrome. But the official autopsy told another story. The infant had died from a traumatic brain injury consistent with violent shaking. This was no accident. The father's story. When questioned, Ryan Greenwood gave police an explanation. He claimed that the day before her death, he and his daughter were, quote, playing rough. According to Ryan, the baby began crying uncontrollably. He said he gave her a bottle, put her to bed, and later that night noticed she wasn't waking up like she normally did. But his version of events quickly began to unravel. Child abuse specialists reviewed the case and determined the baby's injuries were non-accidental. What's more, they believed that if she had received medical help immediately, her life might have been saved. Instead, she was allegedly left to die. The mother's story. Tanya Greenwood, just 28 years old, told detectives a very different version. On August 13th, the day before the death, Tanya said she went grocery shopping. When she returned, she heard what she described as, quote, the worst cry I had ever heard, coming from her daughter. Tanya told investigators she wanted to take the baby to a doctor, but Ryan said no. Court records revealed even more chilling details. Tanya admitted she had seen Ryan shake the baby before, when he was frustrated, and just days after the infant's death, Tanya searched online. What is shaken baby syndrome? But perhaps the most haunting discovery, text messages between Tanya and Ryan, where Tanya asked about unexplained injuries on their daughter. These messages would become key evidence in the case against them. The investigation. Detectives worked around the clock, piecing together the timeline. The autopsy confirmed severe brain trauma caused by shaking. The baby's injuries were consistent with violent, repeated force. Police also noted a disturbing pattern. Both parents delayed medical attention despite knowing their baby was suffering. The theory prosecutors are building is devastating. That Ryan Greenwood, frustrated with his crying daughter, shook her violently. And that Tanya, though aware something was wrong, failed to act, ultimately costing her child's life. Ryan Greenwood was arrested first, booked into the Lancaster County Jail on August 26th. 2 days later, Tanya followed, arrested and charged with child abuse resulting in death. Theories and motives. What makes a parent cross the line from care to cruelty? Ryan insists he was simply playing rough. but experts argue his explanation doesn't fit the science. Shaken baby syndrome, also called abusive head trauma, is one of the leading causes of fatal brain injuries in infants under 1 year old. It takes only a few seconds of violent shaking to cause irreversible damage. Babies' neck muscles are weak, their brains fragile. Doctors say the symptoms are immediate: seizures, unconsciousness, trouble breathing. Ignoring them, as prosecutors allege the Greenwoods did, can be a death sentence. As for Tanya, her role remains clouded in questions. Did she allow the abuse to continue? Was she complicit or a powerless bystander? The jury will decide, but her internet searches, her texts, and her failure to act paint a haunting picture. Legal proceedings and charges. According to police and court documents, the charges filed against Ryan Greenwood, 36, and Tanya Greenwood, 28, are accusing them of shaking a 4-month-old baby to death and denying her medical assistance. The Greenwoods were charged after their 4-month-old daughter died from injuries consistent with shaken baby syndrome, according to an autopsy. Police say both Ryan and his wife, Tanya Greenwood, were home when the baby died. Investigators also learned Tanya had previously seen Ryan shake the baby when frustrated, and court records show she had searched online for information about shaken baby syndrome in the days following her daughter's death. Court documents also show texts from Tanya to Ryan questioning him about past injuries she had noticed on the baby. The couple appeared in court via Zoom on Thursday, August 28, 2025, for their arraignment. A judge set both their bonds at 10% of $1.5 million with conditions that they not contact each other or any minors. Tanya is also ordered to turn in her passport if she posts bond. Both are due back in court on October 1. If convicted, they could spend decades behind bars. Tanya told police she saw her husband shake their daughter in July, with investigations finding text messages on her phone sent from Ryan at the time, in which he said he squeezed the infant's leg. While both Ryan and Tanya were charged with child abuse, police did not note in the court docs that Tanya had physically abused her child, but had put her life in danger by not seeking medical attention. According to Lancaster County jail records, Ryan and Tanya are both being held on percentage bonds. A judge set their bonds at 10% of $1.5 million. Which indicates that they'd have to pay $150,000 each to be released. Reflection of the case. The Greenwood case forces us to confront the darkest truth. Sometimes the greatest danger to a child comes not from strangers, but from the very people entrusted to protect them. A father claims he was only playing. A mother insists she wanted to help. But in the end, their baby never stood a chance. This is not just a story of crime, it's a story of neglect, of silence, of tragedy. And as the case heads to trial, one question lingers. Was this a terrible accident or an unforgivable act of violence?